when you came out with your with the second album, Mahogany, I think at this time Heavy is now running Uptown.
Yeah. Yeah. So here it gets really interesting. So as an artist, I wanted to work with other artists. I was like, okay, Heather's gonna. I'm like, you do have the album, and then I want to like work with some other producers. But it's still you. Like you helped me get with other. He felt very. I think it hurt his feelings. I think he felt like it was a disloyal want. But that's not where I was coming. I talked to him. I didn't understand why he wouldn't just want to do half the album, EP it, and get let me work with some other producers that of the time that I wanted to work with. But there was a whole nother thing going on as far as him trying to make his mark, right? That's why he processed it that way. So Summer Rain was supposed to be on my album. I recorded Summer Rain. And I believe again, what's for you is for you. And that record obviously was not my record. It's Carl Thomas record. It's a Carl Thomas record. It was for Carl. Even we say it exactly alike. Like he say it
Wow.
the same way I say it, right? I sang it in that key and everything. That would have been very interesting. It was very, 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 very booty for me as a female to sing in that same key. I loved it,
Mm.
but it's his record. Like, could you imagine that not being called Thomas singing something right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, right.
Yeah.
Have took back the records that he recorded with me on that project, and so Heaven's nowhere on that project.
Wow. Wow. You know, I talked about how Puffy Andre just went crazy at Motown because of Puffy, and I think that everyone just thought, well, look, we need to do the Puffy style and be on
Like this,
everything, and
Debo, right,
yeah,
yeah.
and as I said, you are the first person that made us aware that Hev could produce. So I think he probably wanted to continue that trend because no, I didn't
Well, it was
realize it.
So For Real. Remember, he had great success with So For Real. He produced those records.
Yes, yeah,
He co-produced those records. So, and the sound, like he created
yeah.
the whole vibe. But yeah, I mean, as a female, yeah, I was the yeah, that was very painful, quite honestly, for our professional and personal relationship. So I EP that record with my then manager, and I'm very proud of that. Like, Touch It's on that record. I did a good job on that record, man. I wish I had people supporting me at the label because right in the middle, he left. He wasn't the president anymore. So all of that time, there
Wow.
was so much going on behind the scenes during that project.
Yeah, because as I said, back in we don't have they didn't have really when the internet was around, but not to the extent we have now. So I think remembering
Right.
like, oh, Heavy has left Uptown, um, and now Uptown is no more because after he left, they just closed it up and pushed everyone
Yep.
away, and so we were very disheartened that he left. And he said he wanted to go back and be an artist, but we don't know how much all of that stuff might have affected his
It
ambition
affected all of us. It affected me and So For Real.
without him being there to steer the ship
He
and
wasn't, yeah, once he took those records back, it was like he did this. And I was just like, I had to keep moving. I had a contract to fulfill. I wasn't gonna belabor, I was like, all right, F it. Like, all
yeah.
right, that's how you acting. That's fine.
And it tells because it's strange because when I listen to Touch It, I'm thinking, oh, this is stuff that's your biggest single, um,
Yeah.
but it's a far cry from your first big singles or what I was used to. It was almost like a single that crossed over to the pop
It
and
was that was my first crossover, and it was huge for me, and it still is huge. It's 25 years in July,
wow,
25th anniversary of Touch It in July, and one of the, I'm so proud of it because this was me EPing my album. I did that. You know what I'm saying? Like I met these producers through an A&R rep, but that song I picked. And then when I asked people, they were like, that's the single right there. Well, when I got the feedback, like from my like Queen Latifah, you know, who was also on that project. Yeah, like I did I was hands on that. I'm very proud of it.
I mean, so you've gone from the first album where it's like, yep, where's the song? Let me sing and have fun to like, well, how much, and this was in 2 years. I mean, you're spending half of that time promoting your first album and stuff, and now you
Right.
have to go back and start recording a second album, and without your mentor supporting you, that doesn't sound as easy as you make it sound like. Just having to do.
No, it wasn't at the time. Thank goodness I wasn't thinking, and I wasn't thinking about a how I felt abandoned, right, and how that was adding to my already all the abandonment issues that I had already had. I didn't realize how it affected me because I was moving, and I'm also a 25-year-old artist who's able to party and, kind of escape and then do work, escape and not really. I didn't have to sit on the couch until I was like 40 something. Like, then that's when it started getting like, girl, this is not working for you. You know, so I just had to I was just doing. And I had my own relationships. I knew that I knew I could do it. I know I'm creative. I'm talented. Like I knew what I wanted to explore, and I did a lot of exploration. I didn't stick to this. Oh, I gotta sound like this. It gotta stay like. I wanted to branch out,
Wow.
and the label couldn't keep up with me. They couldn't. They wouldn't get behind it the way it should have been different. From a business perspective,
Yeah.
everything happens exactly how it's supposed to. I have no regrets, but it could have been different had I had a different support, even within the label. And because I was nobody's baby, so to speak, they were just doing the obligatory what they needed to do to fulfill the contract. And I made it happen. Shit. I got a smash single that Janet Jackson loves. It's like her she gets ready with that record and I know these things. Like I performed it for a surprise birthday. Like I did good, and I'm yeah. I had to I made it happen. Me and God.
Yeah.
God was holding me down.
But how did you agree to do Touch It? Because um it as I said, it's different from what you did before. So did you not think it was a risk? Like, wow, who's with my R&B fans sort of are
No,
connected this?
no, I didn't see. I wasn't thinking like that. I'm a
Mm,
musician. I'm a music person. So
yeah.
all the things that I was influenced by, that sounded great to me. I wasn't looking at it
Mm,
and like, oh, I'm an R&B artist and this is more pop. And that's when actually music was way more segregated, right? And
yeah.
they didn't know what to do with a black woman that had an R&B hit, and supposedly I was pigeonholed because of where I was, where my label, what label I was on,
Yeah.
um, what I produced before, what I did before.
Yeah.
They don't give black artists that room.
Yeah.
We got to do what we're supposed to be, uh, monolithic, and
Mm,
that's bull. Like it sucks. And I said F that. I was like, what else? It worked because they got instant radio play. Not they didn't know what they didn't know what to do. They didn't have those relationships.
from on the pop
You
side, all
know what I'm
those.
saying? They had to send me to the crossover department, or you know what I'm saying? It was weird, but they knew
Wow.
they needed to get that record played because it was doing what it was gonna do
Yeah, 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 yeah.
without them. So they had to.
You tell them.
It's okay.
So I mean, yeah. I mean, it was. I mean, it was a big, also international too. It was a massive international hit and stuff. But then,
Yeah,
did you think, oh man, well, I need to follow that up with other singles like this, or did you say, well,
I did it. I thought I said, well, then I'm still gonna just do records. Excuse me. I wanted to have some cohesiveness, of course, on the project, but each project I approach like a new project. You know, I was in whatever space I was in.
Mm.
With that's why I was so excited to work with Teddy, because I was a fan. Um, but that by that point, you know, I really had very little support at the label. It was basically at that point a tax write-off. Excuse me, for them. Hold on.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.
I begin to